At a family dinner, Grandma asked me, "Is the $1,500 I send you every month enough?" I replied, "What kind of money?" Everyone looked at my parents, who turned pale. Grandma said a few words to them, and then it happened. Update 2:30 minutes later, my parents emerged from the office. Mom's eyes were red and puffy. They didn't speak to anyone, just grabbed their coats and left without saying goodbye. 5 minutes later, Grandma returned, a forced smile on her face. "Who's ready for cake?" she asked, as if nothing had happened. The party continued awkwardly, guests pretending not to notice the elephant in the room. When the last guest had gone, Grandma took my hand. "Amanda, I don't think you should go home tonight. Stay here for a few days." I nodded, relieved. The thought of facing my parents made me physically ill. The next morning, Grandma sat me down at her kitchen table with a cup of coffee. Her eyes were tired, but her voice was steady. "I need to tell you everything I learned from your parents yesterday," she said. "I never directly paid for yours or Henry's tuition. I gave the money to your parents because I trusted them. I didn't want to deal with bank transfers. Seemed too complicated at my age." She took a sip of her coffee. "You got a partial scholarship. Instead of the $100,000 for your education, it only cost $40,000. They pocketed the other $60,000 and spent it on Henry." My hands trembled around my mug. "There's more." Grandma looked me straight in the eyes. "Henry never went to college." "What?" I nearly spilled my coffee, but they always said after high school, they sent him to Riverdale to get him away from his gambling friends. They thought a fresh start would help. She shook her head. "It didn't. He found new friends with the same bad habits. So all those times they said, he was busy with exams." Lies. I gave him $80,000 for his education too. Grandma's knuckles were white around her mug. "Plus the monthly allowance I've been sending for you. $1,500 every month for almost 2 years now." I felt sick. I didn't know any of this. I thought Henry was in college this whole time. I mean, whenever I visited home, he was always on his computer. I assumed he was studying. He was gambling online. Grandma's voice was flat. "Your parents have been paying his debts, putting him through rehab, paying for therapists. Nothing has worked." Tears welled in my eyes. "All this time, I've been working 2 jobs. There were weeks I couldn't afford to eat properly. My roommate had to loan me money when my laptop broke." "I know, sweetie." Grandma reached across the table and squeezed my hand. "And I'm so sorry. I should have checked in with you directly." "What happens now?" I asked, wiping my eyes. "You keep studying, that's your job." Her voice was firm. "And from now on I'll transfer $2,000 directly to your account every month. No more middlemen." I stayed with Grandma for 3 more days. We talked a lot about school, my friends, my dreams for the future. For the first time in years, I felt like someone was actually listening to me. My parents called several times, but Grandma told them I wasn't ready to talk. I wasn't sure if I'd ever be ready. When it was time to return to college, Grandma drove me to the bus station. As we said goodbye, she pressed an envelope into my hand. "Emergency fund," she said. "Don't tell me you won't take it." Back at school, things changed quickly. The first thing I did was quit my content writing job. With Grandma's money, I could focus on my studies, and just work at the cafe on weekends. I bought new clothes, stocked my mini fridge with actual food, and paid back every cent I owed Sarah. For the first time since starting college, I wasn't constantly exhausted and hungry. My grades improved, and I even joined a study group. It was like stepping out of a dark room into sunshine. 2 months later, I was sitting in the campus library when someone tapped my shoulder. I looked up to see Grandma standing there, grinning. "Surprise inspection," she announced loud enough to earn us a glare from the librarian. "Grandma," I jumped up and hugged her. "What are you doing here?" "Just making sure at least one of my grandchildren actually goes to college." She winked. "Let's get lunch. I have something to tell you." Over sandwiches at the campus cafe, Grandma dropped another bombshell. "I've rewritten my will," she said casually, as if commenting on the weather. "You're my sole heir now." I nearly choked on my iced tea. "What? Why?" "Your parents have already received over $250,000 from me. That's their share." She took a bite of her sandwich. "I've informed them of my decision. They weren't happy, but frankly I don't care." "Grandma, I don't need." "It's not about need, Amanda, it's about trust. I trust you to use what I leave behind wisely." She looked at me proudly. "You've handled hardship with grace. That says a lot about your character." I didn't know what to say. After years of being the forgotten child, the also ran. Suddenly I was being seen. It was overwhelming. "Thank you," I finally managed. "Don't thank me yet." Grandma's expression turned serious. "Your parents might try to pressure you about this. Be prepared." She was right. A week later, Mom and Dad showed up at my dorm unannounced. Sarah took one look at their faces, and made herself scarce, mumbling something about a study session. "We need to talk," Dad said, sitting awkwardly on my desk chair, while Mom perched on Sarah's bed. I stared at my parents, these familiar strangers sitting in my dorm room. Mom looked thinner than I remembered, with dark circles under her eyes. Dad's hair seemed grayer. What do you want? I asked, my voice colder than I intended. Now you can watch the third part by pressing share and more.